about all things Whitney today on the Coffee with Madz podcast. So
hi.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Oh, good.
Cheers.
Cheers. So what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a pumpkin spice cold brew with almond milk, and it's amazing.
That is wonderful. I'm drinking a cold brew with lavender and oat milk, and it's really good. So, okay, what is your sign?
I'm an Aries.
You're an Aries.
Yes.
My boyfriend is an Aries. I know a lot about you guys. You guys are a fiery sign.
Yes.
Yes.
Very fiery.
Fiery signs. Yes. And you actually look very comforting.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, I have like a Pisces moon, which I feel is what keeps me grounded.
Yes, it is. It is.
And
emotional.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I am so emotional. Like the first person to cry at movies, the first person like my parents even say all the time that when I was younger that they would like raise their voice, yell at me, anything, and I would just cry. Then they would feel guilty for telling me I was doing something wrong, and they'd be like, "I'm sorry," which I think is so funny that I was that kid that they were like, "Please don't cry, please don't cry."
I bet you were the cutest kid in the world too. And then like just you give me like puppy dog, like
oh my gosh,
face,
yeah,
like,
no, 100%.
Yeah.
My parents show me old pictures.
If you
and
start
I'm
crying right now, I could not handle it. I don't think I could handle it.
So that's me. Yep, the Pisces emotional side is in my mood for sure.
I feel that so hardcore in my soul. Because I totally get that from you. Like when you said you're an Aries, I was like, no, you're fucking not.
Yes, I have the sassiness, I have the fiery and bold side too that definitely comes out, but yeah, I'm grounded by my Pisces moon for sure.
That is amazing. I study film and media because I want to start making music videos and horror movies, and so thank you guys for watching this podcast and for liking and subscribing, and I will link all of Whitney's stuff below, so be sure to follow her on Instagram and follow her creative journey. She has a blog that she is releasing, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, so tell us about your blog.
So at first I was actually doing kind of like a beauty column for a magazine, but the magazine kind of was a thing that just kind of stopped, mostly just because the person running it like can't really do it right now, which is totally fine. So I decided instead to just make my own blog. So I'm gonna be posting like beauty favorites, things like that I would have been posting in the magazine there, but I'll also be talking about, you know, spooky things. Like it's now July, so spooky stuff is everywhere.
Yes.
So I'll be kind of posting some stuff about, you know, where to shop, where you can find like, you know, cheap shopping stuff too, more of like the thrift stores and dollar spots and things like that as well, because you can still find great stuff there too.
Girlfriend, yes, you like complimented this, and this is from the Dollar Tree.
For
like,
real.
Dollar Tree.
Like you can still find the cutest stuff, and it doesn't have to be super expensive. But so all things spooky, of course. I'll
I think
probably.
I saw your haul at Michael's in Colorado Springs. You did
I did Home Goods.
Home Goods.
Yes. I love the Home Goods and TJ Maxx. They are so far the only store that has stuff out. At Home is usually the first, but our At Home was still covered in 4th of July stuff and summer stuff, like 4 days worth. It was insane. We walked in there and was like, have they ever had this much summer stuff?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
They got a
it's
late
terrible.
shipment. They're like, we gotta sell
Yeah,
all
seriously.
this shit.
Like those things that you can like plant in the dirt in your front yard, they just had like rows of them, and I was like, all right, I mean, I guess the flamingos and stuff are cute, but I'm like, I don't care. Like, where's my spooky
Where's
stuff?
the zombie flamingos?
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that what we came here for?
But yeah, so I'll be posting all kinds of spooky stuff there too. I also just kind of plan on throwing like random topics in there. Like I just built in my planner like a mini dream board, so I'm gonna kind of post some stuff with that, just to kind of talk about, you know, things that you could be doing for self-care that can affect you again like throughout the whole year and stuff like that.
Definitely gonna follow this blog.
Yes.
Well, your
it's
girl
so
will be
much
there.
fun.
I love all your self-care things. I think your
Thank you.
energy is so bright, and you're just trying to inspire, and I really get that sense from you.
Thank you.
And I feel inspired. So
Oh, thank you so much. It means a lot. It took a lot of work to get there. So
that's wonderful, and you can tell because you guys have to check out her Instagram. It is freaking awesome. It is so professional. It is so intricate, and there's so much depth to it. Like you can tell so much detail and planning and processing and buying certain outfits and just stylizing a certain way, and then even the locations like tied in with the outfits. It's just like, oh, I'm like, I can't wait. Like we are working together soon, and I've been like obsessing over her stuff, so I'm super excited.
I'm so excited too. I've been watching all of your content, and yeah, so we're gonna be doing an Elizabeth Bathory shoot. and making it super bloody, super fun, and you said a river, right?
Yes.
So we'll be getting like the dress wet, just
Yes.
having fun playing with water. It's
Yeah.
gonna be so much fun. I cannot wait.
I can't wait either. You're like the perfect Elizabeth Bathory. And for you guys who don't know, she was like an old historical queen who was given power by an already savage family of royalty who was already pretty cruel to their people. So she murdered a bunch of women, bathed in their blood. So therefore, there will be lots of blood, lots of fun. So definitely be sure to follow both of us on Instagram. Click the bell on both of our pages so that you guys don't miss the super dope shoot that is coming out because it's going to be fun.
Yes, and add us both to your favorites too, because that'll make it come up in your feed. That's a new thing that Instagram finally added, so you can see your top people again as well. I know the newer algorithms have been weird, so there's a couple ways to get around that, which is awesome.
Yeah, they have been weird. And then, but I also feel like they're trying to do that on purpose. Like, I don't know. Because I feel like some pages were getting so much clout. Like, the big pages stayed big. And it's like, how can other pages get big if you never give them that exposure too?
Yes.
So I feel like Instagram has changed their algorithm in a way to like allow everybody to kind of fuck with each other. You know?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's been pages that I follow who have like 30K followers, 12K followers, and they're getting the same likes as me now,
They
which is
paid
kind
for
of
all of
weird.
their fun. No, I'm just kidding. That's why. That's the real reason why. It's not a serious.
That's hilarious.
But
But it's been weird. I know that they're trying to push for more reels and stuff, which reels are fun and I enjoy
I
making
love
them,
reels.
but they take a little bit more time to make. So for me, it's kind of like, I just like being able to post my modeling photos, but I have been trying to get better at TikTok and reels as well, so.
But see, that's what it's doing. It's like pushing creators to be like, and I think a lot of us think like we get in our head and we're like, oh, look at what this person's doing, look at what this person's doing. But I think if you're just focused on like what you're trying to do,
Absolutely.
that's where the concentration should be, and that's where it will be like more, have more depth to it, more weight because it's specific to you and your branding and your journey.
Yes.
So like so for me, I was like, I'm not gonna post my photography stuff on Instagram until I get good. I'm not gonna post on YouTube until I get good at making videos. It's like I'll never get good if I don't post, if I don't start somewhere.
Everyone has to start somewhere, and that's, I feel like what I have definitely learned from it is like, you have to bring yourself. You are your brand, you're creating your brand, therefore you have to be yourself. Otherwise, people will scroll through, and if your page just kind of blends in, they might not even see you. So you really have to just be like, you know what, these pictures might suck right now, but guess what? It still builds your following.
Yes.
You're still generating hashtags and things like that that are going to build it later on.
Oh yeah.
Like I went back and I deleted like a bunch of like my old makeup looks, just because like they were so bad compared
Don't
to
even
now.
delete them. Archive them.
I should do that.
Archive them.
Yes, I still
Because
have
was
them saved on my
I went on a
phone.
deleting
but-
spree and I was like, wait,
Yeah.
you can archive these.
But I still have them on my phone and
Okay,
stuff
good.
too.
Okay, good.
But it is so interesting when I was going back and looking at them and looking at my makeup compared to now, and I was like, you know what? Like that still got 50 likes back then when I only had like 300 followers.
Yeah.
And to me, like that's still amazing.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
people are still seeing you, no matter what phase or at what stage you are in. People are gonna follow you. They're gonna start building your brand for you. But you have to start somewhere. You're not gonna be great at everything until you just do it.
That is so true. God, I love that advice. And I feel like I absorbed some of that because it's an everyday thing. 'Cause you're getting
Yes.
thrown with all this shit every day online.
Right.
You're like, am I doing enough? Who am I? Like,
Right. But no, there's plenty of people that I follow, like other fellow speaky pages where it's like the girls maybe focus more on doing like the horror shoots and stuff like that where like they don't even do their makeup, they're just wearing the masks and everything, and I'm like, that's freaking phenomenal, you know? And I'm like, they're still building these crazy followings and stuff from it because it's like people out there are still gonna love your page as long as you create it with what you want it to be created
Oh, yeah.
with. So I think it's amazing. Like you don't have to do full glam for someone to be like, let me follow you.
yeah,
you know?
exactly. And with that though, I feel like also sometimes people will start to expect things from your brand.
Yes.
And that is interesting too. I'm kind of in that area too because people know I do horror, and then I'll do like something like light and bubbly, and they're like, what the hell?
Right, and then those posts
like
are
all my
like-
goth people will not like it. And I
Yep.
notice it, and then when I post something dark, like all my dark people come back and they like it always. I'm like,
Yep. It's true. I was noticing when I was only posting like modeling content from like a wide variety of shoots, it's like certain ones would get like 400 to 500 likes, and other ones it would be like, here's your 100 likes. You know, if it was like
They didn't really
a
like
vintage
that one
shoot
or-
or something like that. But
Oh, I know.
you
It's like the ones
what
where you're
it is.
naked. It's like 1,000.
Oh my gosh,
You
I
have clothes
know.
on. It's like drastically.
Oh my gosh, that is so true though. Anytime I post like any boudoir shoots, it's like, woo! And then the times where it's like, I had one person comment one time when I had like, I did the ghost face shoot with like the mask on, and they were like, oh, but I like to see your face. And I'm like, you know what? But I'm also trying to create things too. And I'm like, look at all my other posts for my face. Like, it's fine. But it's so true. People come to expect these things, and they'll comment and they'll let you know. And you're like,
They will do. Yeah.
you're like, I'm a creator. I don't just do one thing, okay?
Or
But
they'll be
it's
like,
so
I
funny.
love the third photo. And you posted 10, you're like,
Thanks.
they're like, I'm like the rest.
Oh my
Just go.
gosh. It's so true though.
Third photo, or last photo, great work. I'm like,
What about the other 4? Seriously. I know people's comments I've learned, it's just like laugh because
oh my god,
they're
yes,
so
you
funny.
have to learn to laugh at it because it's just so ridiculous sometimes. And like me, I'm like the photographer, so I'll post boudoir. Yeah, I'm a boudoir photographer as well. I do. But when I post those, I get an insatiable amount of activity on my page because the people are like looking at this hot chick, you know, and I'm like, cool. Like guys, sex sells, and men and women alike love to see women's have an appreciation for women's bodies. That's just I
It's
guess
true.
what it is.
It's just a thing, absolutely.
And women's
Which-
bodies are a work of
Great.
art, so it's like
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's amazing to look at.
It
Honestly.
is, yeah.
And then like the intricate like poses and like the cool like different types of angles and outfits and.
I love doing like the artistic nudes too because it's like it's not just
You're so
meant
good
to
at
be
that.
like you know where you're in a studio and you're just like going for it. It's more meant to be like look at the surroundings, look at the lighting, look at like the placement and stuff. Like the shoot that I
Tell
did.
a story.
Yes. So the shoot that I did yesterday was super fun because like I said we were secluded in the rocks, which was super cool. But there were these roots that were kind of up on a hill that were just going down.
Oh,
so
so cool.
I found a spot to place myself in the roots.
Oh, that's
so we
awesome.
did like drape some fabric and do like some implied,
That is
which
badass.
if some of you don't know what implied is, it's kind of like, yes, you're not wearing anything, but you still have something kind of covering you to kind of give the surreal that you're, you know, still not wearing anything
It's
underneath.
my favorite. My favorite.
Yeah,
The peekaboo.
so much fun. Yes, the peekaboo. I love it. But yeah, that we took the shots where, you know, no fabric and stuff, but it was just so much fun because it's like the lighting was nice and dark, and then my body was just draped in the middle of these roots. Like,
When Mother Nature works with you, you're like,
Yes.
yeah. Mother Nature's so metal.
yes.
Like
oh, for real. Yeah, but
Mother
that's
Nature
what
has
I
all the
love.
metal horror vibe going on.
Yes.
Even in broad daylight. We would be surprised.
Oh,
like,
seriously though, we took the Jason shoot, like still during daytime out by a lake, and there were still so many spooky spots that it was
Really?
like, sweet, yeah.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that is amazing. All right, let's ask you some more questions. So we did like advice and self-care. Okay, what is your sign?
I'm an Aries.
You're an Aries.
Yes.
My boyfriend is an Aries. I know a lot about you guys. You guys are
Okay.
fiery signs.
Yes.
Yes.
Very
Very
fiery.
fiery signs. Yes, and you actually look very comforting.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, I have like a Pisces moon, which I
Oh my
feel is what
God.
keeps me grounded.
Yes, it is. It is.
'Cause I
And
have-
emotional.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I am so emotional. Like the first person to cry at movies, the first person like my parents even say all the time that when I was younger that they would like raise their voice, yell at me, anything, and I would just cry.
I can see
And
it.
they would feel guilty for telling me I was doing something wrong, and they'd be like, "I'm sorry," which I think is so funny that I was that kid that they were like, "Please don't cry, please don't
I'm sorry.
cry."
I bet you're the cutest kid in the world too. And then like just you give me like puppy dog, like
Oh my
baby
gosh,
face,
yeah,
like,
no,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
My parents show me old
If
pictures.
you
and
start
I'm like,
crying right now, I could not handle it. I don't think I could handle it.
So that's me. Yep, the Pisces emotional side is in my mood for sure.
I feel that so hardcore in my soul. Because I totally get that from you. Like when you said you're an Aries, it's like no, you're fucking not.
Yes, I have the sassiness, I have the fiery and bold side too that definitely comes out, but yeah, I'm grounded by my Pisces moon for sure.
That is amazing. Wow. Yeah, my boyfriend is, I believe, a Taurus. So yeah.
Okay.
so he does not have it's
The
more
crowded. Yeah, I would say Tauruses, I feel like, are not very at that level.
I'm like, so it's more stubborn and it adds more
Yes, for real.
the headstrong and this. I'm like,
Tauruses are so headstrong.
oh my gosh, it is wild. But I need that in my life as for a man, so to be
That's
my man.
good.
So he's
I
perfect
love that.
for me, yeah.
You
Because
gotta
I'm
have
very
great
Gemini,
balance.
so I'm very airy.
Oh, yes.
So I'm very like,
I love it. He's like, okay.
oh my god, yes, say less. That is exactly our
love it.
relationship. And then your partner, what is your partner's name?
She's an Aquarius.
Oh my god,
Yes.
Aquariuses are the coolest people.
They are so aloof, so much fun.
What's your partner's name?
Kristen.
Kristen.
Yes.
Kristen. That is awesome. How long have you guys been together?
So we hit 3 years in April, so it'll be 3.5 in October. But
That is so exciting.
Yeah,
we
thank
just
you.
hit 3 years in a week from now.
oh my gosh, congratulations!
Thank
What's
you.
your partner's name?
Kyle.
Kyle.
Go ahead, Kyle and Kristen.
I love it.
I know.
The K's.
I know. We'll all hang one day. I know
Yes,
it's gonna happen.
absolutely.
That is so
100%.
Where did you guys meet?
We actually met online.
Oh my god, so we.
Oh, I love that.
On OkCupid.
Yes. Oh, that's a good app too.
Yeah.
We met on, I think it was Plenty of Fish, which is very random.
What does that mean?
So, just like another random dating app out there. I think it actually started as like a Christian dating app, but I don't even think that's a thing anymore. But
Two lesbians met on a Christian dating app.
right, love that. But no, it was kind of funny actually because Plenty of Fish was like the one app that I had that didn't really have like a radius. So being in Colorado
Wow.
Springs, I was very like, I can't really go drive to see somebody. At the time, like my car was utter crap. So after like driving half an hour, I'd be like, I'm gonna overheat on you. So it was
a
the
great
one,
first date.
Yes. So it was the one dating app that like didn't have a set kind of limit on it. So I was just kind of in my messages going through and deleting stuff, and it showed profiles on the bottom, and I saw her profile come up. So I just clicked on it, and I was like, oh, she's cute. So I just like messaged her. I didn't even know really where she was. So we actually were like long distance for 7 months because she was out here in Denver, and then I was in the Springs. So yeah.
So she from Denver?
She's not from Denver. She's from Florida, but
Oh,
she
okay.
did move out here with family and just
Much
kind
better.
of, stayed out
Much
here.
better than
So.
here.
Yeah, no, she'll tell you the same thing.
That's what all Floridians tell me too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, she was like Panhandle, Florida, so it wasn't even like where the good
yeah.
stuff's at.
Oh,
So.
so she's thriving and doing well now.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you guys look so cute. You guys look so
thank you.
happy, and so she's such a strong couple too.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we've definitely been through a lot. I feel like, first year of dating, it's like I got my first place on my own. That didn't work out very well. So moved a lot, and then we went through COVID together, and me being like unemployed for 5 months, and her
Oh,
being
God,
like,
that's a
one
lot.
of the workers who was continuously just
Oh,
having to
wow.
work. So we've been through, I feel like, quite a lot.
That's
for
what I was
3
saying. I was
years.
like that with creators, we do have to have partners to support us,
Yes.
and that is big. And I sense that from your partner too. And so I'm glad that you have somebody who supports you because it's hard to be a creator. And
Gosh.
and to convince people to believe in you, and then let alone be like, hey partner, so I'm gonna start doing this now. What do you think? And they're like, okay.
Right, absolutely. She's been supportive 100%. The first time that I modeled, it's like, okay, so this person reached out to me, and she was like, all right, well, I'm going to watch the location on your phone, make sure you're safe.
Yeah,
like,
that is
she's so
important.
protective in that
That
way,
is so
too,
Kyle.
so.
I love that.
Oh,
they,
I love
as
it.
they should be, because this world is crazy. I mean,
It's insane.
like the women's march. So I was gonna go to the women's march and take photos, and then Kyle got really sick and had like an eye infection,
Oh, no.
and he was like, and I was so passionate and so pissed off, and I really wanted to go, and just document a historical moment in time when our rights are being taken away yet again, like.
Gosh.
But he was so worried about me going with my expensive equipment downtown Denver by myself,
Aw.
And it's like, and it irritated me. I was like annoyed by it, but it's like, oh my god, you have somebody who loves you so much, they don't want you to get mugged. Like,
Seriously.
oh, dang. Like,
Yes.
so.
And that's so important. Yeah, I love that. That he's just like, I just want to make sure you're
I was like,
okay.
I know you want to go fight for your rights, but I want you to be okay. and safe.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. But we found alternative ways that we're both going to start supporting like
Good.
women, and we'll get into that. But having somebody who supports you and looks out for you, not just your mental health, your physical health, your artistic health. Like I will paint for hours, and this man is just like supportive and just coming out here to do photo shoots and do like just constantly being on the go. It's hard to be with someone like that,
Seriously, yeah. And that's my wife too. I mean, my schedule is so booked with things all the time, and I'm so like brain
like to
fried
stay
half the
busy.
time.
We like to stay
We
busy.
have to stay
And we
busy.
have to keep the
Gosh.
brand alive,
Yes.
keep the dream alive, you know?
And when I told her I wanted to, like pursue the full-time content creating and stuff like that, she was super sweet and being like, yeah, just, drop down part-time, or I got to the point where I was like, I'm gonna leave work to pursue it and do some side hustles and stuff, and she was super sweet and was like, I can afford to pick up rent, like I'll just do that, and she
Wow,
allowed me to focus on that, which I think it's huge. Like it really shows that
It's everything.
their support.
It's going to be why we make it,
Yeah.
is having really strong partners.
Absolutely. Yeah. You have to have someone to uplift you at the times when you're so down on yourself, because being a content creator is not easy.
No, it's your ego's constantly being bashed in.
Yeah, exactly too. And you'll be like,
You're not good enough.
this post didn't get as much as I thought it would, or stuff like that. And you start to beat yourself up, and she'll be the first person to be like, nope.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
exactly.
thank you, I appreciate that. I need that.
Yeah, that is wonderful. I'm glad that you have a person in your life like that, especially when it's your partner. It's like you feel so blessed, You're
Yes.
Because like
100%. That's how I feel half the time.
because we're artists, we are crazy. All right. Now, this is the horror episode, so we must discuss some horror
Yes.
with the scary, spooky Queen Whitney. All right, so I'm gonna ask you a question that I bet you've never been asked before.
All right, let's hear it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh yes, never been asked. Totally okay. It's a good introduction question. I love it. So for me personally, like I said, I'm a huge Scream fan. Scream franchise is my favorite. So I would have to go Scream. Scream is like my comfort movie. If I'm super down, it'll make me laugh. Just love it so much.
It makes me laugh too. I'm so glad. It has the perfect amount of comedy and horror.
Yes, it makes fun of horror movies, but still is a horror movie, which I think is why it will
so
forever be one of my favorites.
Yes. Did you like the new Scream?
I did,
Me
yeah.
too.
I was actually on a YouTube panel for that one where we got to discuss it and stuff too, which I thought was really cool. It was
Oh,
great to
really?
hear opinions from people who literally were actually sitting in theaters when the first Scream came out, and I was barely living at that point,
That is so
it was really
dope.
fun.
Oh yeah, I'll have to check that out. I did not know.
Yeah,
That's super
so
cool.
much fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. But yeah, no, I really liked it. I think Scream 5 had the perfect mix of bringing back the old characters and bringing in a whole new generation, but it was so good.
Yeah, my whole thing though is he's so obsessed with Cindy. I'm like, okay guys, there's no way.
Right?
30 years, it's 30 years of being obsessed with this one main character. I'm like, she's got the best final girl energy. Totally get it.
Yeah, no, Sydney she's great, but there's definitely other final girls out there who I feel are a little bit more badass.
And I think they caught wind of that, and I think she caught wind of that as an actress because I heard she's not going to be in the next one.
Yes. And that was something we talked about in that YouTube panel I was a part of, is if Sydney were to come back in the next film, would you still watch it? And a lot of us were like, no, if you're gonna go with a new generation, bring on the new generation. So
I see. Have you ever seen the Netflix series Fear Street?
oh yes, oh my gosh. And I read the books when I was younger. I was
What?
a huge
Yeah.
R.L. Stein fan growing up, so
That's amazing.
Yes.
Wow, I was an R.L. Stein fan, but I did not know that he had an entire series.
yeah,
Wow.
so Fear Street was his as well as Goosebumps. So I would when the book fairs came to school, I would run to them and check out all the new Goosebumps, all the new Fear Streets. I was Goosebumps.
That is so dope.
Yes, so
Holy
much
crap. Yeah, which one was your favorite of Fear Streets?
Out of the movies,
Yeah.
I would have to say I was a huge fan of the third one actually. That was one when it went way back in time to
The last one?
witch.
Yeah.
And then it fast forwarded back to the
You would
1994,
you
so.
would like that. See, I think I got you pegged in your horror. You
There
like
were so many just clapback statements. I feel in that one too, I was just this one by far is my favorite. And I also loved the first one, so when it jumped back, kind of carrying what happened in that one and kind of closing it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
It was just beautifully written, and I feel the actors did such a great job of just tying everything together and really showing, I guess, just the support for what actually happened. Because when you figure it out, you're that's messed up. So it was really cool to see it tie together and then be whoa, everything we think we're fighting for right now is actually the opposite. Pretty crazy.
The twists and the turns in that was insatiable. wild. And yeah, I'm glad that you liked it. It was so well done. And the whole going back in time thing was very creative. And I just gotta give Netflix huge props. Like whoever is creating the horror right now, like sign me on because you're fucking killing it.
Seriously, oh my gosh.
From that to the
So
slasher,
many.
did you ever watch the slasher? Being a big Scream fan, did you ever watch the Netflix slasher series that came out?
No,
It's
I
literally
haven't seen
called
that one.
Slasher.
Slasher, okay,
You
I'm gonna have
got
to look
see
it up.
It is literally so gory, and so, it is the staple of like that classic slasher movie.
Oh my
Like,
gosh, yes.
it is so
I'm
good.
all in then.
Yeah, so Netflix is killing it. Netflix is doing well. So I'm glad that you are keeping up to date with all the great horror movies coming out. As the queen of horror, like what projects do you have coming up? What projects are you most proud of that you've done in the past in relation to horror?
So I was really just excited to do anything horror when I first got back into modeling and got reached out to about it. It was like super cool. So I'm definitely going to keep that going, especially with spooky season just coming around the corner. Like I have so many fun projects coming up.
Good.
I've already talked to Floyd, who's like the photographer that I work with most in the springs, and we have a lot to roll out, lots of plans. So we haven't like set them in stone yet, so I don't know exactly what's happening, but I know we've talked about doing like a Freddy shoot.
Oh my God, I love Freddy.
My best friend gave me her wedding dress, so I actually want to do like a Ready or Not shoot with it.
Ready or Not is. I'll do it with you. Oh my gosh,
Yes.
I freaking love that movie.
It's so good.
It's so
right?
good.
Oh my
It's so
gosh.
good. It is literally one of the best horror movies that have been released. And
I agree.
she's
It's so
the main
creative.
character. She is just like the perfect final girl too.
Seriously.
Like, oh, dude.
At the end when she's sitting on the stairs with her cigarette, I'm like, if that is not the most relatable final girl, I don't know
Oh
what
my
it
god,
is.
I know.
But
You would kill
phenomenal.
that. Let me know.
Yes,
Oh,
I would be
that's-
so down. I want to get like all the different weapons, like what she has to try and use in the movie, like the shotgun at the end with the thing. And
Can you
that,
imagine?
like-
So for anybody who doesn't know, do you want to give them like some insight of what that movie's about?
Yes, so it's a very fun, like creative movie. Which actually, the people who made the most recent Scream were the people who directed that. So that's how I knew it was
Wow,
going to
I
be
didn't know
pretty
that.
decent.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
So a bride kind of gets married, of course, into a new family. But this family is known for making board games and things like that. Like that's what they got their wealth on. So it's a tradition when a new member comes into the family that they have to play a game. So I don't remember if it's like they roll dice or if it was a spinner or something, but it lands on hide and seek. But hide and seek is actually kind of like a sacrificial thing. So this bride has to fight for her life from her new husband's family throughout this whole film.
And literally it's just like them hunting her down for the whole film and her like fighting for survival. It is like the worst thing that can happen after you get married.
Oh my gosh, seriously. Like she was still in heels and everything,
Yeah.
and this girl had to like find ways to figure out like how she was gonna be running around and everything. She's still in her wedding dress, so she's like tearing it apart,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that is so relatable, and I feel like that's exactly what would happen. Like you have to figure out how to
Yes.
survive in your wedding attire.
In this
Like,
giant mansion. Who doesn't like a
Yes.
giant mansion horror movie?
Oh my gosh, for real. So much fun though. Such a good film. Very underrated too. Like I don't really hear a lot of people talking about
I
it.
don't, but I love that. It's like don't kill it. Please.
Yes.
We don't need a or what is it?
Ready or not.
Ready or not. We don't need a ready or not vibe.
Please no.
That's all it
Just
loves
keep
to
it
do. It
going.
loves to recreate the same thing, and I'm like, you guys can hire
Oh my
me,
gosh.
and I will write you something original. How about that?
Seriously.
Because I want to fire all these repeat writers.
I know when I hear remakes are coming, I'm like, ooh, again.
Yeah. Or when I see like teenage scenes, and I'm like, 40-year-old adults wrote this teenage scene. Like, this is
Right.
all- What has being in the public eye made you realize about people and yourself?
Wow, well when it comes to people, it's definitely made me realize like you just have to really be grounded in yourself. People can sometimes make comments, say things that might offend you, might hurt you, things like that. Being a content creator, you're gonna come across that stuff. You just really have to learn to roll that stuff off for sure. But I've also learned that like people can also be great. Like I have so many Instagram friends now that I've never met in person, but we're like the first people to hype each other up on our posts, which I think is phenomenal. You can build a community with content creating. It's not, just about yourself too. You can find others like you and build that journey with other people, which I think is great. Again, it's like when you become a content creator, I think you expect that it's just going to be a lot of you, but in the end, it's like it's not the pace.
most of it is all collaboration, and I'm still learning that. I'm still learning that because I'm like, whoa, there is a whole community out there.
Yes.
And Colorado's community is so like loving and embracing, and everybody is super creative in their own way. And I just love the melting pot we have going on right now.
Yes.
It's really awesome. Like,
No, it's amazing. And as for like what I feel like it's made me realize about myself is more so just that like people are people, but it's great when people are celebrating you as well. It's really boosted my confidence a lot when other people are like, you know what, you posted this photo and it made me realize that I need to be better with my body. I need to love my body more. And it's so great to see you so confident and showing that. And that's the kind of stuff that like makes me cry literally. I'll like read these comments of like
yes, see, and I need to get to that place because like I get a lot of like compliments, but I don't. It doesn't. It stays here. It doesn't. It hasn't gotten here yet, you know. But it's slowly getting there. It's slowly getting there. But I feel that. I feel it. It's so important for people to get the what is that? The assurance that yes, your shit's dope, or yes, the work that you produced is inspirational, or appreciated. Just like people sharing your stuff is so cool. Like I always am like people. Get over yourself, like share stuff you love, like keep sharing stuff, like share other little twisty things. And I tried them last night. I was like, I'm totally that girl who's like, oh, I just got this, and I have an interview tomorrow. Let me try it for the first time ever. That is so me.
that's me though too.
Don't recommend. Have a plan and be prepared. Okay. All right. All right, Whitney. How do you stay positive when the going gets tough?
Well, I think it's definitely a couple different things, but I think it's having things that you can just go to, comfort films, comfort movies. I have like my favorite comfort video game, but also just
God, that comfort video game is so cool.
Right?
It's like the perfect, yeah.
Seriously,
Awesome.
I love it. The words of affirmation is really what helps me too a lot. But just having things that you can tell yourself when you are feeling low. Getting in your head too much does not allow for you to think clearly.
Oh my God, that's so true.
Just sit down and take some like deep breaths and remember those things. Especially I feel like being like a content creator, you said is just so full of emotions, everything's going on at all times. So I have my affirmations for like just confirming to myself that like I'm good enough, what I'm doing is good enough, that I'm valid as a person. But also just having your affirmations, I feel like to pull you through like depression or anxiety, things like that. I have the ones that are of course to like I'm good enough as I am. And then just having the ones for depression of saying it's okay to feel low, but just remember like not to stay there, but feel what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Definitely just let yourself absorb the fact that you're valid for your feelings and just really understand that too. That has been a huge part of my self-care journey is that shadow work of understanding like why am I in this place? Why am I here? And sometimes it stemmed all the way from childhood or being an early adult, things like that. So it comes back to hit you later sometimes too. So
But sometimes, and then you start to realize that, oh my God, oh fuck, I have a toolbox of shit that that go to for when stuff isn't going my way. You start to get better equipped at like dealing with those things.
absolutely. I think a lot of us feel we need to like push down emotions or just be like, you know what, people have it worse, which is such toxic positivity.
Yes.
Like you need to understand that like what your body is feeling, what your emotions are feeling is totally normal and you can't compare yourself to other people with that. That was a huge part with like my mental health journey that I had to learn. A lot of the times I would hear from people around me, family, things like that, when they didn't quite understand fully what I was going through with my mental health yet, of just being like, you know what, like you're fine, just pull out of it, or basically saying, well, other people have it worse, and it's like you can't resonate with that. It doesn't make you feel better.
I grew up with my dad, so I was raised by a man, and I have very like masculine energy, and but constantly, growing up, I was told like suck it up, like come on, be tough, be strong. And I'm like, oh, that's so weak, and this is just too much for me. It's like, suck it up, buttercup. But it's like, being able to feel those moments is being kind to yourself. It's like, okay, go cry for 2 hours if you need to. But it is that, pick yourself up when you're done crying, though.
Yes.
You don't look too good crying on the floor by yourself, eventually picking yourself up and keep going and moving forward. And knowing that we're all just fucking doing our best,
Right.
you know? And it's so humbling. Like when I first started, like seeing like people with like large followings or people have been doing it forever, you know, and I'm like, oh my god, they're so professional and they're so intimidating and so cool, you know, and I'm like, I could never, you know, and then I meet them in person, I'm like, oh,
You're just like me.
you're human. You're just a normal person like, with hobbies and interests like me, you know.
Exactly. It's so true.
It's humbling.
Yes, we put people up on a pedestal sometimes of like, because they're the places that you want to be, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, but then you realize that they're really just another human being struggling with the same things as you do, and you're like, oh.
But that's how you find your tribe and your community, and
Yes.
and then you're like, okay, we're all in this together, you know. Let's all support each other. Let's create together, and let's live this life to the fullest, man. We only got one in this one body, so it's like I love that. That's awesome. Me too. All right, let's play a game. I think that'll be fun.
Yay.
So this one here. So this game is the Tell All Party game. I've actually never played it because it is a 3-person game. However, it is just I have a lot of truth games and talking games. I'm a Gemini, so I love to talk and conversate with people. And sometimes I have to chill and be like, calm down, shut up. And but hence why I started the podcast. And I'm like, we could totally talk to each other and play a game.
Yes, I love that. And even if it is a game like this, my wife and I have done that with some of them where we're like, you know what, we're just gonna play just us.
That's what happens with couples. I feel like it's our
changed a little
thing.
bit.
We're like, you know what, it says 3, but there's only 2. We'll make it work. Cards Against Humanity, whatever. Yeah, opening that would be great. Right. Have you ever been someone's secret admirer?
Ooh, yes. Like, I really only think back to like school days though, where like your generations won't get this when you had like notes in your locker from somebody because we didn't have each other's like phone numbers or something. And there wasn't social media. But yeah, I remember having secret admirers like pop stuff in my locker, and I'd be like, how did you even know this in my locker?
Oh my gosh, that is so cute.
Definitely school days though, not now.
That is the big question. I feel like, how did they get this locker right? It's a helium,
Right? Is it cute or is it the helium? I like that it says the helium. You just like need to show that. That's like a huge typo. That's amazing. And yes, I have. What?
Have you been dunked on?
I don't think so.
Are you a victim of being dunked on?
Grace would be one of those commercials I'll see on TV.
I refilled the liquor bottle with water.
Yes. Tons of my parents' bottles. They found them years later. And they blamed it on my brother, which I just like let them do. Which I like, sorry parents if you're watching this, but like
You just watch him go down for it.
totally. Yep. We would put like iced tea in the ones that were supposed to be like whiskey, water, and vodka. They like didn't pull the alcohol out for years and years. So we're like adults at this point, and yeah, like they ended up
You still
finding
let
it
him
out.
take the fall.
Totally. I didn't even live there anymore, so I was like, oh my god, Matt.
Who did
what?
that?
Yeah.
Well, they know now.
They know now. It's okay. It was both of us.
That's so funny. I didn't even know that happened, and I refilled it. I remember being like a kid and a rebellious teenager, and I like refilled it, put it back in the freezer, and then opened the freezer later and saw the whole thing was frozen. And I was like,
They're gonna know.
they're gonna know. Yeah, there's no way they won't know. Yeah, I got in a lot of trouble. It's giving me like some PTSD. Remember how much trouble I got him for that? I'm sorry, Dad. And he will watch this, so I love you. Thank you for dealing with me in my rebellious stages. Have you ever been in a hurricane?
No, I've lived here my whole life, so really not in a hurry.
Same here, dude. Oh my god. Have you ever turned down a wedding proposal? Ooh.
No.
You're like, I've been proposed to once and it was a yes, so no.
Right. Yeah, I'm like, I did not have that many suitors. That would be nice. I would love to say that I've turned down like so many people.
Like
have
10.
a list.
10. And counting. Have you ever hidden in the bathroom on a date? Very specific.
Yes. Absolutely. I can recount it too because I ditched this date. So like I was only I think 16 or 17, and I went on this date with this guy that I actually worked with too at like a movie theater. Then he tried to like grope me, and I was like so innocent at that age. I was like, oh my god, like no, how dare you? So I went to the bathroom and totally called my mom and was like, oh my god, like it was just a whole thing. So.
Have you ever drawn a portrait of a nude model?
No, I am not like
Artistic?
artistic whatsoever. I totally wish I was. I was the person who took art class and like managed to fail it. So what? And put in so much effort. I sucked that bad. So definitely not.
You're like, it was maximum effort.
It was maximum effort, and I still failed. I was like, all right, you know what? Art's not my thing.
But it is though. You paint your face, bro, and it looks amazing.
That's true.
Yes,
This is a different form of art.
Yes. So you are good at it. You just needed to find your niche.
Right? Just not painting. Don't make me paint.
I was gonna make you paint. It's a good thing you said no. I'm just gonna paint myself. Put the paints away. All right. Have you ever stiffed the waitstaff on their tip?
Only once. And it was
You're so honest. It's refreshing.
only once
July
because I am
4th.
such a tipper, but this server was like super rude, blatantly rude for like no reason. And did not care about us getting like our food on time. We didn't even get like our appetizer like whatsoever. I was like, and it was nothing to do with the restaurant, not busy, nothing, just this person being like crappy person. And it's like, I get people have bad days and stuff, but like to walk in the door and just like have your whole experience in that way is a different story. Like I was a server at one point, so for me I guess I was like, that's just not okay. Like if you need to go home, but like don't treat people like that.
No. Is it just bad customer service? Or?
Yeah, it was just horrible the whole time, and just like no respect. Like didn't care to refill drinks, like nothing.
Yeah.
And since I was a server, I was like,
Oh no, I tip on
no.
performance. I'm not like, oh my god, you poor thing, you're working. I'm like, same. Like I'm trying to make it too.
Seriously, we're all hustling.
Yeah. I'm like, we live in Colorado. None of us are rich.
So true though.
Unless you are rich. Then it's another story.
Right. What is that like?
Dear Daddy. Have you ever made a fool of yourself at a party?
Oh, so many times.
God, these questions are better than any questions
So
I had.
So you're like, I'm just gonna pull this out.
Pull cards, and that's gonna be the segment going on. It's gonna be, yeah, no. What have you?
Yes, so many
Okay.
times. So many times. I mean, when there's alcohol, at some point you're gonna do something stupid.
Yeah, so
For
true.
those of you who are young enough who have not drink yet, that's something to learn. You'll always make an idiot of yourself at some point.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what happens.
And then in your mid-20s, you'll go completely sober.
And still make a fool of yourself just differently.
Just sober. That's like my life right now. Have you ever taken a road trip in an RV?
No, I've
Oh.
actually like never taken a road trip. Period.
Okay, well,
That
that's
would
on
be
the
so
bucket
much
list.
fun, yeah.
Because you take a nice road trip.
Yes.
Go hit some horror museums.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, I would love that.
Go to New
So
Orleans.
much fun.
Oh yeah. Have you ever cosplayed?
Yes, only a couple times though so far. Just the Jason shoot. I did like a Velma Dinkley shoot
Oh my God, that
to
was
get
so
like front and
cool.
back cover of a magazine, and it had like a
congratulations.
spread in it. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun.
That was dope.
Me and Floyd did work so hard in that shoot, and I was like, I'm not posting it until it gets published, because I was like, that was the one I knew was like, this is published worthy. And I mean, we went all out. It was like spooky in the woods. We had like a flashlight and everything too. We played with the lighting, going from like sunny to dark to really like just execute it all the way through to make it so much fun. So
Jeepers.
yes, that was my favorite cosplay, but that one and then my Ghostface one, that's it so far.
That's
But
amazing.
more to come.
More to come. So if you're not following her, you're gonna miss it. That is really cool. Yeah, cosplay is my thing. I love it. I'm like, I want to do themes as much as possible because just I feel like it's so cool to see people's different executions on the themes. It's like always fun to see. It's
So
like,
much fun.
Yes. Every shoot's always different. so much different, and it's like, oh, you guys killed it. Good job.
Yeah, well, every person who cosplays someone, it always turns out differently, and that's what I love. Like, it's not the same content. Every person adds their own thing to it, and that's what makes it so cool.
Yeah, that is amazing. Have you ever stolen an item or of clothing from a friend?
I probably have. I'm literally the most forgetful person ever. So knowing me, I'd probably be like, oh yeah, this is my shirt, and guaranteed it was probably like a friend of mine.
Really?
Yeah, I probably have.
I'm that classic friend who I wear clothes when I'm at my friend's house that's theirs and I leave with it, and then they don't ever see it again, and then they come to my house and they're like, oh, that's my sweatshirt. Jade, I have some sweats to return to you. More recently. Have you ever bought a car that was less than $500?
No, that sounds great. I mean, it may not be great, but I'm
I
sure
know, like
it's
a piece of shit.
probably. But no, I have not.
That question's asking if you've ever owned a Uzi.
Right? I mean, I've had older cars, but that was kind of when I was younger, so luckily, like, my family mostly paid for those, but I still don't think they were ever under $500.
That's exciting. Have you ever pretended to be a different gender online?
Totally. Yeah, like back in the day when like email and those chat rooms were a thing and you could just log in and be anybody, absolutely. My friends and I would just like mess with it and have fun.
Oh my god, do you remember Omegle?
Yes,
I love
that's what we used to
Omegle.
go on.
I used to go on Omegle and just do the weirdest shit, like
Yes.
the archives of Omegle that are never come back, you know, because they all fucking haunt me. I feel that. Have you ever spoiled the end of a movie?
By accident so many times. I never mean to do it on purpose, but like a friend will get me talking about it, I'm like, and then I get so excited and I'm just like, sorry.
Yeah, I tell people, I'm like, full disclosure, you don't want to know.
Yep, I'm like, just ask me for the synopsis and don't ask me to explain it because I probably will
You're that
say the
in depth.
whole movie.
I could totally see you doing that with like horror movies.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I get way too excited about like spooky and horror movies. I'm like, and then this happens, and then this happens.
Oh, I love it. Have you ever thrown a video game controller in a fit of rage?
No, but growing up, I think it's because my brother used to be so crazy about his games and do that, and he would like yell at them that I was like, that was never my thing. I would just watch it and be like, you're crazy. Like, what are you doing?
It's just so Pisces energy. Like, that is so chill. Like, and Pisces are like a very aware sign because they've been through the entire spectrum of all the signs. So you guys have like a deep understanding for like every other sign.
Yeah.
Because you guys have like a part of that in you, which is so cool.
The Aries in me though, have you played the game Fall Guys at all? No, so it's something that we have on Xbox and PlayStation. My wife and I have it on both, so we can play together too.
Aw,
But like,
cute.
there are people when you get like close to finishing at the levels that will try to grab you or like whatever. I get so angry. So like my Aries totally comes out with that. Like I've never thrown a controller, but I'm like, oh my god, I would have made it if this person didn't freaking grab me. Like I'll get so mad and I'll be like, I'm done playing for the night. Like, so sometimes the Aries shows, but just never thrown a controller.
Aries are so great though. They're so powerful. Like you're so powerful.
Oh,
So-
thank
Oh my god, these questions are getting worse and worse and worse. Have you ever ruined someone?
I love that that's a question. Do the newer generations even know what that is? I feel like now it's just such a popular
Is it on
thing.
purpose though? Have you ever moved someone on purpose or accident? That's a real question because we all know you've moved someone.
By accident. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. But no, I've never on purpose moved.
Can you imagine?
That's hilarious. I just remember watching Grease when I was younger and being like, so controversial. Like that happened at the school dance.
It was too. Have you ever picked up a hitchhiker?
No, that scares me too much. I have
Yeah.
watched way too many horror movies
Yeah.
that I'm like, I can't do that.
I'm like, you're definitely like no good. Like
Yeah.
there's something happening.
Well, in modern day, in the world of Uber and taxis and things too, I'm like,
There's definitely something
there's
going
something
on.
going on. I'm like, nope, I'm good.
Yeah, don't pick up hitchhikers.
No.
It's not safe.
Definitely not.
It's not safe. And I heard this crazy story like when I was a little girl about this guy like picking up a hitchhiker and he would like keep them in like a box in his trunk.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And he was just constantly picking up hitchhikers. And
That's
just,
insane.
He was like a serial killer and just don't do it.
Oh my gosh.
Don't hitchhike. I've hitchhiked before though.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. Your girl's been crazy back in the day. Have you ever been oblivious? Oh wait. Have you ever been oblivious on a date?
No. I wish I could say I have been.
But you're very
but-
in tune.
Yeah, very in tune. I feel like whenever I went on dates, I was always very careful. And I was always like more of a listener than a talker at first. Because being like an empath, you want to feel the energies and stuff first and have them talk and be like, who are you?
Yeah.
So I don't think I've been oblivious, but
You
I
seem
mean,
very like a very in tune tone.
I guess I've like never known when people have been into me though, which is why like dating apps are perfect. Because like growing up in school, my mom would be like, "Oh my gosh, he was totally flirting with you." I was like, "No, he's not, mom. He's my friend." Like totally oblivious, but not on dates. At that point, I'm like, okay,